sauce. Every player gets sniffed out. Acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Mistos, causing chaos and play up Calypso. I paused in kitchens and caused addictions. I paused prescriptions and caused inflictions. Lil Bixby playing in stores in Brixton on the dark web. You gotta pause every doors, cause encryptions. Tesla engines, pause the pistons. I seen every floor I leave sore enlisting. For that action, they sponsored the Bronson. They was hooked on that shit like Johnson and Johnson. That freeway, Ricky Ross, straight out of Compton, straight out of Bompton. Red on blue, violence in the land. The projection of the will, the perfection of the kill, the reflection of the pills. I'm a frontline soldier, I'm no doja. These crystals not from focus and crypto. Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck sounds. Every player gets sniffed now. Acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso. Hickory dickory down. Hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot. Lick off a shot. Heavy in the pedal, we slip off a knot. Heavy in the ghetto, they crib walk a lot. Crib walk the crypto, lift off the stocks. Drips off the crystal and pots. Disco rots in the blocks on my chain from the crystal shop. In the light there, lift off the rock. Toe Virgil right chain on my block. White paint on my socks. White paint on my socks. Hickory dickory dock. Hit the lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot. Lick off a shot, we lick off a shot. Players in crypto. Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck sounds. Every player gets sniffed now. Acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.
Are we here? Are we here? Are we on the air? It's I promise you, system been acting goo. All right. Peace, love, and light to the family. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Mondays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your brother Red Pillar reporting live and direct from the Port of Riches. I am currently on the first trek of a spirit quest into the jungles of the Amazon. Something that I've been planning on doing my whole life. You know? So I'm in the tropical South right now, acclimating my DNA to the environment because I'm about to go 10 days into the jungle. Right? January is the month of Janus, and the god Janus is the two-headed god the God that looks forward, and the God that looks backwards, right? So in the month of Janus, right, this is all about the transformation. This is all about being able to see forward and also being able to look backwards and whatnot. This is about renewal, regeneration, right? That's what the winter solstice is about. That's what the winter seasons is about. That's what winter is, right? Death and regeneration. So the hero twins will go deep into the jungles, into the underworld, into a mentor, right? On a journey, because that's what this thing is about. This thing is about a journey. So I'm going to bring the family along with me on this journey. Of course, you know, we live our lives on camera. That's one of the things that we signed up to do. We don't keep secrets and whatnot. We don't hide. You know, we open up the doorway and we do it the Moore way. And we show the family that we're not going to talk about something and not do it. Right? Y'all need to see us do it first to know that it's doable. So here we go. Into the quote unquote Amazon, into the Yucatan Peninsula, right? Into what they call Atlantis. At the same time, they're one of the most sacred, one of the most beautiful, visual, one of the most ancient parts of South America as we speak, right? They're burning it down. And it's not me that said that this is the people behind. This is what the news reports are reporting. They said that the culprits of the Patagonian fire, right, in Argentina, okay, is you know who's the people who go into other people's land, disrupt the land, and you know do all type of fuckery and whatnot. I don't even need to know. You know you don't need to hear the names. So one of the things that I want to say before we even get into tonight, because we're gonna be in the building, but we're not gonna be in the building super long. I do have another episode of the quote unquote Magafest Destiny coming up, the Iceman Inheritance Part 3, because we let the ice cool off, right? We sat back, we did a show, and we sat back and we said, we're gonna see if the ice melts. Then we know that this thing was this thing is organic. If the ice melts, this is something that's organic. If the ice turns into an iceberg, or it turns into an ice wall, or it gets colder and whatnot, you know, because it's cold in Minnesota, right? If that starts to happen, then we know fully exactly what we're looking at. Right? We're looking at a ritual. We're looking at a psyops. We're looking at ice being denied thrice, but they needed the energy to feed off of, right? They needed the outrage. They needed the protest. They need all of that. So what did that wind up happening? Ice began to become more, it's a household name now. They killed a white woman. You feel me? The Grand Sacrifice, WWE, White Women Entertainment. They came outside. They was upset. You know, what does security look like in America if they can knock a white woman off who's just trying to park her car? You know, all of these all lives matter liberals and things of that nature, writing these thought pieces and things of that nature. But it is what it is. The same people that were rooting for Venezuela is the same people that's out there marching and whatnot. The hypocrisy, because the same way that lady got shot in her face is the same way if Donald Trump says that he's the president of a whole country that you know he has no love for, and he's sending goons over there, and he's sending stormtroopers over there, and he's quote right-wing soldiers Yeah, they're going to be shooting a lot of people in the face and getting away with it. The empire is the empire, whether it's domestic or foreign. So we got a lot of follow-ups from the last show that we did, provocations. There's been a lot of a lot of pieces on the chessboard have moved around, but what has become more apparent, right? What has become more starkly apparent, IWAS has been activated. What's IWAS? Automated, artificial intelligence, automated weapons, synthetic systems. So IWAS has been turned on, right? They are deploying drones. They are deploying Palantir. They are deploying facial recognition. They are deploying all of these tactics in Minnesota and in every single march. They need people for their database. They needed everybody to bite the quote unquote worm of what they call rage bait. That was rage bait. Why you keep playing the video of a woman getting unalived so many times during prime time, right? That video has been watched by so many people around the world. Rage bait. Doesn't matter how bad they look. It doesn't at this point with the empire. It doesn't matter. They're showing their fangs. They have their people. They're feeding their base and whatnot. Feeding their base red meat, and their base is quote unquote baseless. So this is what they want. You know what I mean? They want the militarization. They want quote unquote iron fist, not velvet glove. They want Curtis Yarwin's vision for this government to come true. And what is that? That is to dissolve the democratic government and to completely into an autocracy, right? Where you don't have to answer to the people, and the technocrats, the people who are those trillionaires, the technocrats that sit at the table with Trump right now, those are going to be the people making the rules, running things. And this thing will run like a corporation, and it will not have a president. It will have a CEO. Go and look up the Dark Enlightenment. Go and look up the Cathedral. Go and look up Curtis Yarvin, and go and look up who he influences, not just who he is. Go and look at who his acolytes, meaning who's following his teachings to the T. And you're going to see all of the power players that sit inside of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue carrying out his writings, his thoughts, his quote unquote plans and whatnot. The only thing is they turn it into bureaucracy. They turn it into bills, into quote unquote legislator. And then that's what and then people get exposed to the legislative or the bills and whatnot. But you're looking at Project 2025. You're looking at the Dark Enlightenment and whatnot. You're looking at every single thing that these people wrote about and planned, in a way, manifesting, quite, I would say, the word that I would be looking for, the word that I would say that they're doing it is, they are thirsty, they are desperate, and they are quote unquote, you could tell the air of desperation on them is somewhat deafening at this point. They are grabbing for straws. Everything about their operations are being exposed as lies, and all type of shit is falling apart. However, they've succeeded in their quote unquote campaign of enacting global fear, right? Like I said, IWAS. 2026 will be the year of IWAS. 2026 will be, instead of saying Skynet, we say IWAS. That will be the same quote unquote. That's the same system that I'm describing, right? What has Latin America, what has Africa and thus everybody else in that hemisphere under pressure and whispering and talking is the story about what happened in Venezuela, the technology that was used. That story, ladies and gentlemen, is spreading throughout the world, right? Like an urban myth. That story, ladies and gentlemen, is spreading throughout the world like a hyperstition. That story, ladies and gentlemen, is spreading throughout the internet or cyberspace, right? Not only as a hyperstition, okay, but as meme magic, right? And the story that they're talking about is that there was a craft that pulled up. It was undetectable by Russian radars, right? The craft did not make any kind of noise, okay? It just appeared out of nowhere in the sky. It was flanked by attack helicopters and drones and whatnot. As the drones began to attack the installation and whatnot with laser-like weapons, 20 men descended from the stealth-like aircraft. 20 men, they said, who were superhuman soldiers. Go and look it up, right? I don't have, I'm on the road right now. Doesn't mean that I won't play a video on your ass, but the show that we'll be getting into will deal with all of that. That's not what the show is at this moment. This show is the Port of Riches. You know what I'm talking about? This is the inspiration show right here. This is the show that's going to be the one that's going to kick off the theme of what we'll be doing this whole month leading into February, which is tentatively titled Afrofuturism Month. The launching of the Imaginarium, okay? The platform that is going to change everything about the quote-unquote fantasy complex industry. But the story that I'm going to be the story that I'm talking about right now is a story about how the armed captured Maduro in Venezuela, killed off 200 Russian security guards. 20 men, they said, was shooting 300 bullets, they said, a second. Then they got hit with a sonic weapon that made everybody drop to their knees and feel like they were on fire inside and throwing up and whatnot. I've heard about that before. They showed you that weapon in the movie The Hope when they turned on the sonic weapon. They've used that in protest and whatnot. They just turned that bitch up a few notches and they was putting niggas that were twerking on their knees during George Floyd and whatnot. So they haven't brought that to the States yet. They haven't turned that on in Minnesota yet. However, please understand that that's the level of what it is that they'll be enacting in this new level of warfare that I've shared with you before. It's autonomous, it's AI. It is not your father's and your grandfather's war, right? They used it on 11 and Stranger Things, exactly when they was knocking her down and whatnot, and they were turning her power off, right? So they were saying that they were seeing they have blood from the eyes and the ears and the nose, like this was Hawkins' lab, but no portals were opening. Okay, they were just blood coming down. You know what I mean? So they got these microwavable weapons that are cooking niggas. Remember the Havana syndrome when they was getting everybody in Havana was getting cooked and whatnot. So they showed you that they really broke that out in the Incredible Hulk when they was hitting them with the sonic waves. Well, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what they were doing in Gaza and whatever they've been doing in Lebanon, those stories don't matter. They happen with America. This is the big. We are the big dog in the world. We are still the big dog. When America sneezes, the world gets a cough, right? So two things happen that is significant in shaking the whole world up, right? Manifest destiny. The thing is moving forward. You might not realize it, but I'm here to let you know I'm traveling around the world. The spell or the propaganda or whatever the plan was, I'm showing you how to play, how they laid it out. So any Colombia, Cuba, Haiti, Any is where these conquistadors is like, I'm finna pull up and take your shit. At this point, we're taking your shit. Yeah, they are dreading the day that possibly might happen. So on the tail end, right? This is Venezuela, right? Venezuela is socialist. Venezuela is attached to all socialist movements. Venezuela has had a revolution. Venezuela is a country that's a part of a revolution, same way that Cuba is a part of a country that is a part of a revolution, and that revolution is still underway to this day, right? So Venezuela is attached vicariously all the way over to places like Iran and stuff like that, right? But on the same timeline, right, on the other side of the world, because remember, this is America, this is the empire's warning, not their, this is the empire's first quote unquote checkmate, like on a chessboard of the southern hemisphere of the Americas, that they entered into. When they came into the Americas, they entered into through that corridor, right? That's the corridor. They came through that corridor through South America, right? Through Patagonia, that same forest that they're burning and whatnot, through the Yucatan Peninsula that Trump came and named the Gulf of America and whatnot. The same way that the migrants came into America, that's the same way some of the Europeans came into America. First wave of the Europeans who didn't necessarily look like the Europeans of today. They didn't look like Diego and them. They look more like Drake. They look more like Andrew Tate. They look more like DJ Khaled. They were speaking, and y'all, they were speaking the tongue of the Aragon, the Castilian Spanish, and they were also speaking Arabic. They were Moriscos. They were little Moors. They were helping out other amalgamated Europeans, meaning that the majority of them had mixed blood. They were not pure white at that point because they had 700 to 800 years of quote unquote racial mixing and whatnot over there in their homelands, right? So, but the sons rose up against the fathers. They took the sides of the mothers. The mothers were quote unquote the Europeans and whatnot, the daughters of these Nordics or the daughters of these Germanic tribes and whatnot. They gave their daughters up. Their daughters bore sons from the Moors, from Africans and whatnot. The sons rose up and took their mother's side, slew their fathers, conquered their fathers, took over their fathers' kingdoms in the name of Christendom, which is the militarization of Christianity, which are the Jesuits that you see now, which is the Vatican, the Holy See that you see now, that great ism that took place in the church that split up the Orthodox. That's the Greek Orthodox. That's Russia and all of them. Split them from the Vatican and all of that. Then that shit with the Protestants and Calvinism and all of that other shit, all of those schisms and isms and whatnot. These people who are over here are immigrants and migrants, and they're not native to this land. In all of the Americas and even Canada, you got to understand that when you look at the big picture. You have to understand that when you look at the play these people are making to solidify themselves for about 100 more years, or hopefully they're trying to play the 1,000-year game, but their time is up. The land that they took, the resources that they pillaged, all of these things are the cycle, the natural cycle is beginning to spin. The persistent equinox. That's why I said desperation. That's why I said, if you know what you're looking at, they're showing their hands. That's why I said that these people are literally doing every single thing that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, how did they know? Fard Muhammad, how did they know? Even Marcus Mosiah Garvey was talking about what they was going to do 100 years later. You know what I'm talking about? So South America was the first target, but then Nigeria on Christmas. Now, let's talk about Nigeria. Nigeria is the heart, the same way that Venezuela is the heart of Latin America when it comes to the socialist movement and things of that nature, right? Nigeria is the heart of Africa. When Nigeria, sneezes, everybody gets a call, right? America went and got Nicki Minaj, right? To do what? To send a signal around the world that the Crusaders, right, are riding for Christianity in every single corner of the earth. Now, we live in America. We don't live in Africa. We don't live in these different places and whatnot. So we don't realize the level of what's going on with Christianity in some of these places. What is the persecution about? What are people saying? Why are they resisting Christianity? Why are they riding on people who are worshiping Caesar Bourgeois and whatnot? What are they doing in some of these villages and whatnot? What's the conversation going on? And how do these third world, how do these foreign countries, how do these outliers and whatnot, when somebody like Donald Trump says, I'm protecting you in the name of Christ, putting church and state in one sentence and whatnot, where that how the hell do you do some shit like that? That's not, that's not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing. So Nigerian Christians and all Christians in Africa, when that bomb dropped in Nigeria on Christmas, the Muslims in Africa took notice. The Nigerians all across Africa said, oh shit, the American Christian Crusaders are coming for us. They are signaling that they are ready to go to war, that the Crusades are happening. It dropped in Nigeria. But interestingly enough, everything is everything, but everything is apparent when you just look at it with, through the lens, void of the propaganda, void of the spin, void of what these TVs and the news stations and the YouTubers saying sometimes. They dropped it in a village that was not involved with persecution of Christians. They dropped it in a tribal village. They dropped a bomb on Christmas in Nigeria in a tribal village from the USA, gift wrapped by Donald Trump. What is that saying to the rest of Africa? They're coming after the magic. They dropped a bomb in a village that does tribal shit, right? So there's no such thing as a missed bomb. If you're gonna send a bomb over there, you're gonna know who the hell you're bombing. You don't get to do it again and whatnot. And then the president in Nigeria was cool. He knew everything. He was down with all of that. So the people have been put on notice that the Crusaders coming to disrupt all of that shit that y'all niggas that all of that stuff that y'all be on, that's not Christianity, that's not Christian, that's not dealing with this crazy vision that these Zionists have and these evangelical Christians as to how they want to subdue all of the non-believers, all of the infidels, and what they would call useless eaters. Nah, they're turning up. They're turning up. They're sending out a lot of signals and whatnot. So they want to create all type of strife on, and then of course we have to factor in what's going on with the Sahel region, right? So that was also a signal to say we're coming in and we're gonna go after Ibrahim. We're going after Nigeria. We're taking all of that. We can't allow that shit to rise up. So the big bad America is dropping bombs right next to Ibrahim and them. That's provocation, right? That's violation and whatnot. Using Nigeria as a puppet just to say to the president, yo, we just want to drop a bomb out there. We'll give you some money and whatnot. We're going to drop it in a village. Tell the village to clear out. We're going to make sure nobody in the village gets hit. We just want to send a signal to those hard-headed guys over there, those young guys that are messing everything up for you African leaders who are quote unquote our friends and whatnot. They're making it bad in Africa. You guys have held it down for 100 years. And look at these young upstarts. You know they're communists, right? You know they're socialists, right? You know they're anti-Christ, right? That's what he's telling. That's what Trump, when they put all of them African niggas under the deodorant and whatnot, and they bring them in those rooms in the Oval Office and start spanking them, and be like, yo, why you let, you know what I mean? They start barking on them. How you letting this whole region get out of hand, smacking them out? The fuck, get this shit straightened up. That's what they doing. Then they'd be like, yo, come out of the side room. And the nigga from France come out and smack them too. Psh, I'm ashamed of you. How did you let this happen? You know, desperation, white fragility, white inferiority. They're panicking because niggas is rising up. They're panicking because Africa is waking up. They're panicking because Africans are giving their Bibles back and they putting the elekes on. You feel me? They panicking because people in South America are waking up. They're more spiritual now out there than they are religious and whatnot. Yeah, they'll do that shit a few times and whatnot, but they know what it is. They know what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Anne Rice know what it is. She could see this shit. You know what I mean? So people are panicking, and that's how I'm seeing it. It's other layers to it. I don't want to dismiss anybody and their theories about what they're seeing. Everything is what you say it is. But what I see is that they spying. Look, because I'm not a big talker. Just real quick. Operation Southern Spirit. Give me 1 minute. Boom. Operation Southern Spear. Right? Y'all can see that? All right, let me read that. So this is what's going on in Venezuela, right? But it's not just Venezuela. It's this whole area. Give me a minute. I got so many windows open. Yo, do y'all hear the animals? Do y'all hear the wildlife? Do y'all hear that? It's literally hold on. Get some silver. Get some gold on your body. You feel me? And listen. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up again. I'm gonna read this shit. Get your silver, get your gold, get your copper. Shit, copper lit. So Operation Southern Spear is a United States military and surveillance campaign with the goal of detecting, disrupting, and degrading transnational criminal and illicit maritime networks, right? So let me go down. The campaign was formally named on the 13th of November, the day before our birthday, by Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War. It uses hybrid fleet of vessels with robotics and autonomous systems to detect and combat alleged drug trafficking networks in the Western Hemisphere, right? The Naval has a robotic fleet of autonomous systems to support the detection and monitoring of illicit trafficking while learning lessons for other theaters and help develop critical techniques and procedures for integrating RAS into the maritime environment, right? So they're using the disguise of the cartels to spy on everything going on in South America, right? They're using AI, Elon Musk satellites, AI drones, right, to spy on on all of the Latin American the mountains, the hills, because the minute we get in the car right out the airport, all you see is mountains in the background in Puerto Rico. Mad mountains, yo. Crazy. Now there's not a bird in the other room. This is yo, I'm really in nature, bro, and I'm not even in the jungle yet. But imagine that. Like imagine, like I when I lived in the Bronx, I lived across the street from the Bronx Zoo, and that was good for my ego and my energy because it was primal. I heard the hyenas, my nigga, in the morning when I'm sleeping, knocked out. The lions are roaring. I'm getting all of that in my subconscious. I'm hearing baboons. I'm hearing lions. I'm hearing sharks. Right in the Bronx Zoo. So now I'm right here. Is what you're hearing is the frog, the national frog of Puerto Rico, my chico. This is the frog, my G. You know what I'm talking about? This is the frog, but it's a symphony of nature outside. It sounds like it sounds like an opera. Facts. Like, to respect the simplicity of this simple life that we ran away from. Niggas ran to these cities and whatnot for what? How y'all left paradise to go to the brick city? I know you're going to grind and whatnot, but this is where the life is at. Do you know how free I feel right now? Do you know how I feel different, bro? The minute I got off the plane, that shit hit me. The coquise. That's the frog out here. The coquise frog. So I don't want no, like, we complaining about shit because we ain't in nature. I'm ready to buy a spot out here right now, bro. I'm ready to buy. I'm asking Ghost. I'm like, yo, how much is it to get a simple? I want a basic spot. I don't want no high rise. I don't want nothing. I want a spot in the hood, in a patio, my nigga. Simple shit, windows, doors, and rooms. That's what I want. I want the simple things. And then you could go to the city every now and then. It's almost like when Neo went into the Matrix. This is Zion. The Matrix is fucking, rat race. The mega cities. The 1 minute cities you niggas about to go into. That's Zion. But this is Zion. Zion is the islands. Zion is where the food is not cheap out here. Let me just explain. But you can get off the trees. It's in the backyard. It's growing on the trees. The food and the fruits, they look real. You know what I mean? Got blemishes on it. The soil is rich. This is real soil. The when you walk, I was on a beach. It looked just like Miami, bro. I thought I was on South Beach. I put my feet in the sand. It just felt different. We need to bring simplicity back. These people are trying to the frequency of places that are paradise. To be honest with you, everybody who's not from this bitch needs to get up out of here. So if the provocation of one conquistador against another conquistador would be like the scene at the end of True Romance, or Reservoir Dogs, where they had to all take each other out. If this turns into a Spider-Man meme and whatnot, so be it. But to be honest with you, I was in the airport looking around. I'm like, this shit is everybody's an invader. It's a few Indians in this bitch, but god damn it, you know what I'm talking about? What the fuck? It was 1,000 I Love Lucy's in that bitch. You know? But it is what it is. It is what it is, you know? I'm just starting this. This is my first day of this trek. I don't even know what to expect. But what I do know is that it needs to happen, you know? And it's what I call the great reset. It's time to reset. You feel me? It's time to reset. It's time to do things a little bit differently. You know, it's time to pop out by popping in, you know? But yeah, things coming up. Yeah, nature hit different. People got us. People are, they're tricking us. They are fooling us. I don't want to say that we foolish and whatnot. They're fooling us. I'm a tropical person in nature. Like, I'm tropical by nature. You feel me? Whether I'm with I Show Speed in Africa, or I'm in Latin America, or I'm in the Caribbean, or I'm in South America, or I'm in Miami. I'm just naturally tropical. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't naturally tropical, but I'm speaking to the naturally tropicals. They playing with us, and you playing with yourself, because we need to be bipolar. We need to be bi-coastal, because becoming bipolar, and we're not going to both coasts and whatnot. We should be on some old snowbird shit. It get cold somewhere, I'm going to get some vitamin D. It get cold somewhere, I'm out. I'm going to go against. If it's winter here, I'm going to go to wherever it's summer and whatnot. I'm going to fuck with the circadian rhythm. I'm going to just play with my DNA. DNA, according to Bruce Lipton, responds to environment. Somebody said that you got to have bread to move around. I came here for $103, bro. I'm not afraid to say it. I came here for $100-something, and I booked a flight the day before. What are we talking about? I came from Atlanta to Puerto Rico, my nigga, for under $200. I spent $200 the other day. I went to the farmer's market with my child and his mama. I spent $430 at the farmer's market with my whiz, bro. And you know, when you push in a shopping cart and you know that you did your big one, you know what I'm talking about? And you looking at everybody when you online and shit, like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, this is not Snap, nigga. This is Stacks. Fuck you talking about? It wasn't even that. The cart wasn't even a stunner. It wasn't a stunner's cart. The cart wasn't even a flex cart, fam. It was a regular cart, my nigga. I spent $400 and change at the farmer's market, B. So what I'm letting you know is that prices are up like a mother effer. And this shit is not a game. And we got to grow our own food. Shout out to Blue Pill. Shout out to H Factor. Wait till y'all see what the fuck Blue Pill got going on. Wait till y'all, you know, y'all ain't hear from Blue in a minute, but that don't mean, man, wait till you see out on your ass. He blew my mind away the other day, because the day after I spent 4 and change, I went to see Blue. Blue was growing food in his house. I'm talking about Blue got a farm in his house. Blue has the equivalent of the black cube Kaba in his basement growing mushrooms. Facts. The nigga has a black Saturn cube growing lion's mane, cordyceps, and what's the other one? Portobellas, I believe. Right? They growing food on the wall. They got a miracle herb out of China that's helping people get their sight back with diabetes. We got testimonies. I'm moving that way. I'm moving more into the health and wellness. I'm moving more into the miracle plants and the superfoods and, you know, things like that. Protein. Don't got to do more meat like that. Pause. You feel me? I'm not a vegetarian. I don't know if people know that or not. I'm never proclaimed to be one. I'm not a vegetarian. I just eat healthy. I know how to get rid of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But, you know, it's going to come a time where you just going to have to make a real choice and do that 90 days of pure fruits. You know what I mean? Nature and whatnot. But I'm the type of person where wherever I go somewhere, I'm going right to their farmer's market. I want to eat the food that came right out the dirt, because that is where the energy, that's where the DNA, that's where the information, that's where all of the alignment will be when you get to that place. I can eat the food and get the info. I start, the shit will give me like a GPS map of where to go and what to do, and it will attract people to me when I eat the food. Some people drink the tap water, but I like to eat the food, you know? I had to make the decision, right? Because this is my theory. They about to close the gates. They about to shut this shit down. They're going to want you to give up a kidney and a lung in order to get on one of their planes to go to one of these countries in about a year, bro. I feel the gates closing. I feel the fact that 6 months from now, going through the airport the way that I did is not going to be as easy as it was and whatnot. I feel that when you give them your ID and they be like, step to the side and all of this weird shit, and I feel that real ID and all of that is going to interfere with man like me who like to move around incognito. So I'm like, I'm getting up out of here before shit start getting crazy. And another thing, and I said it before, I have to explore certain lands when the frequency is the way it is, be disrupted, and it will never go back to where it was. Let me use an example. Imagine you eyeballing a pretty young thing. You feel me? She's just a pretty young thing, as pretty and fine as she want to be. Happens to be that she ain't been with that many men and whatnot. Body count ain't crazy. Her stocks are up, right? Her stocks are up. She got high stocks and whatnot because, you know, her selection of men, she hit her parlays and shit like that. So, you know, she's a chosen one. You got your eye on her. You like, damn, I wanna pull up on her. You feel me? And I want to really tap in. And you pursue her, and then she winds up popping up one day with a dust mite. I'm talking about the dustiest of the dust mites. You know, bald nigga. Why you got no bald head? It look like a bowling ball, looking like a golf ball. Like, yeah, short king. She just pull up with, like, you know what I mean? It's just like the stocks just fucking crash, like when DeepSeek popped out. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? The stocks just go through it's just like, what the hell, right? And the frequency that you held for that person will never be the same. The charge, it will never be the same because she's no longer unsullied. You know what I'm saying? She's no longer unblemished. She was with a dust mite. Niggas, they give out parasites. No, nothing is wrong with being bald. Shout out to all of my baldies. Hey, baldy. Hey, baldy. Bald niggas. Bald niggas. Bald niggas. Yeah. So that's the same. I'm using that analogy to say, like, places like the Amazon, South America, right? Places like Jamaica, right? So Jamaica had a frequency before the Elizabeth hurricane, and that frequency is not there no more. So if you had went to Jamaica to tap into that frequency that was being charged up, I would say for a few hundred years, that was like there was that frequency that was there. It was just there. But after the hurricane hit and made the mountains bald-headed, that frequency is gone. So in places like Venezuela, frequency was before when Maduro was there. Now that Maduro was gone, the frequency, the electromagnetic frequency of that land is changed because fear is in the air. You understand? And fear brings confusion, and confusion brings chaos. And this is how these warlocks and whatnot, this is how these people work, and they find their way through the cracks when they create confusion, propagandize confusion, all type of psyops and whatnot, psychological operations. You see what's going on in Iran and whatnot. You see how they pulled that one off. So I'm gonna go on my South American tour before the energy gets disrupted and whatnot. I'm gonna go tap in before anything changes and whatnot. And I'm gonna plug I'm gonna to that socket and give it a charge like a Tesla. That's what the Hero Twins would do, you know. But I was able to get up, make a decision, right, to go and work on myself, right, deal with my trauma, deal with my healing, deal with my growth and development, because life is about refinement, right? The word of the day is recursion. We're always working on ourselves. We're always refining. It will never stop. You know what I mean? It will never stop. The superior man is always refining oneself, always checking up, always having, always dealing with feedback loop and whatnot, always tweaking and fixing things. So this journey is very important to me. But what's even more important to me is the fact that I'm able to do something like this and not worry about getting fired, and not worrying about somebody telling me where I gotta be on a certain day at a certain time, not having, not being able to relax and whatnot, because I'm looking at a calendar and it's a countdown and I'm crossing off dates and whatnot, like I'm in the pokey waiting for a release date. I don't want to operate like that. And I've operated like that before, mind you. And everybody around me operates like that. I was the black sheep. I was the one who was laughed at and whatnot. I was ridiculed. I was made fun of. You feel me? I was laughed at in my face. I was not supported. You know what I mean? I was passed up. I was looked over when I decided to be an entrepreneur. Niggas was like, I fell off. You know what I mean? And to this day, I know what people are going through when it comes time to jump off the porch, when it comes time to make that decision, when it comes time to make that life change, when it comes time to quote unquote change the direction, like the Adjustment Bureau and whatnot. Get out of the comfort zone. I know what it feels like. My whole life is being outside the comfort zone. I was selling t-shirts on 125th Street for 20 years, nigga. That wasn't an easy job, bro. You know what I mean? That wasn't an easy road. T-shirts kept my whole family alive for mad long until I pivoted and got into other things. So on January 24th, right, we are going to be doing a workshop. It's not a lecture. It's not a lecture. It's a workshop. It's a lock-in. It's a hands-on workshop and whatnot. It's more interactive than anything. It's actually going to be like a full day of work, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Atlanta at Spence City headquarters. It's going to be me, Spence City, and our good brother Hitsayu Aku. And we're going to be doing this right here. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 minute. Hey, Baldy. This is say goodbye to the final 9 to 5, right? The final 9 to 5. Okay. We want you to say goodbye to your 9 to 5 in 2026. And please, I understand the apprehension that many people may have because the economy is horrific, right? The economy is horrific. The economy is scary and whatnot. But I promise you, in this world that we are in right now, I would roll the dice. I would put it all on the line. I would invest in myself in either a product or a service. I will invest in a loved one, right? And become their financier or their management and whatnot. I will put it all on the line and build out a tool and whatnot. Come up with an idea and fund something and have a group of developers build you a tool and just go to market with that. Not to say to leave your job, but do that on the side. Create multiple income streams. Don't miss out on this wave. Don't miss out on this boom. Don't miss out on what's happening because they are completely spinning you in circles, having you think that AI is going to just wake up one day and take your job. No, your employer or your boss, they got an update by somebody in a company that has AI technology and software, and they solicited your boss to get rid of you to buy their software that they showed in many use cases will be able to replace you. That's what happened. Okay, that's what they're doing and whatnot. So if you want to get ahead of that, you have to, at this point, factor in the possibility that you're expendable at your job and whatnot, and that they will cut you in an instant and not think anything of it, right? So it's time to upskill. It's time to fortify ourselves. It's time to identify what our quote unquote sellable skills are. What are your talents? What are some of the products that you have created? And get right to it. So we have experts in marketing. We have experts in social monetization, Web3. We have experts in branding. Okay, the trifecta of any product, any service, any brand, or any quote unquote celebrity, anything that you want to put into the digital economy right now to get this thing pumping where the possibilities are endless. You could go parabolic if you do it right. So check us out. The QR code. I'm going to throw up the QR code right now. If you scan your phone, you'll be able to get tickets to the final 9 to 5 right here, right there. Boom. QR code. You'll have access to the tickets. We have $55 for the remote, meaning that you are live streaming it. If you're going to be IRL in a building, it is limited. We don't have space for a lot of people, but we mean not space as in room, just space as in how many people we're going to be able to give our undivided attention to in real life. And then we also have a spillover, which will be overtime, and that is available for a selected group of people as well. That way you'll have consultations from each one of us, and we'll be able to work with as a mastermind with each one of you that are part over time. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to tap out. We're gonna play some music and whatnot, and then we're gonna get up out of here. But we will be back. We got a lot of shit going on, but like I said, I'm balancing it out. Real quick, let me just play one. Hey, why not?
Are doing magic and you aren't. So we're going to discover a little bit more about what magic is. So when I say magic, this applies to if you're in Christianity or some sort of Abrahamic religion where they talk about faith, or if you're a secular person and you hear a lot about manifestation. This is the basis for all of that. This is what people are trying to tell you, but don't even know how it works themselves. So we're going to look at 3 quotes today, 4 quotes from one of the elite's most trusted practitioners, actually. Aleister Crowley. So in Aleister Crowley's teachings, there's one thing that he constantly hammered home, and it's what we've been talking about on this page. He said, the subconscious self is the most important factor in magic. He also said, control of thought is the first step in the attainment of magical power. He said, rituals are useful only so far as they teach the operator to concentrate his mental and moral forces. And this is the most important one, though. He said, magic is simply the art of living. So what
Magic is simply the art of living, right? But he talked about practicing discipline, mastery, right? Levels of morality and things of that nature. Okay. So you have people that are doing dark magic where they are crossing the thresholds of that morality and crossing over into a place where they say morality doesn't exist. They're dealing with a lot of dark, dirty ass magic. Then you have people who would not cross that threshold. They're keeping a clean type of energy. They're using values and integrity and whatnot and discipline, and they are doing a level of magic as well. Okay, that's the theme that we're going to go into this whole journey with. I want everybody to understand that when we speak magic, we're not talking hocus pocus. We're not talking about something that you have to try to figure out and whatnot. We're speaking about things that are being applied every single day in all 9 different fields and whatnot. That's what's going on in this reality that we're in.
he's saying, and not explicitly telling you, is your first step is to attain what is actually called in New Age circles is enlightenment. And what enlightenment is simply the art of living neither in the past or the future, is living right now. And that's your first step.
So Bobby Hemmett teaches enlightenment, right? Phil Valentine teaches enlightenment. The master teachers, the majority of them, that is exactly what they are teaching. We can identify the earlier days of consciousness, even up to right now, as the age of enlightenment, because theoretically speaking, that is exactly what is taking place. there's an enlightenment. They're calling it conscious community. No, you start out with an enlightenment first. So people the majority of the people here, I would say 99% have experienced enlightenment. But that it doesn't end there. That's not the end all be all, but it definitely starts with a spark. Okay? The gnosis.
Because if you cannot manifest inside of yourself, if you have no control of what's happening inside of yourself, you cannot manifest outside of yourself.
So with knowing that, we all got work to do, because we are all magi's, we are all magicians, and the world is depending on us, and there are children waiting on us, born and unborn and whatnot, right? Can't be the magi, and you can't be the MAGA or the magus, and you don't do the work, right? So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all, a great journey. You know what I'm talking about? Especially in this winter season and whatnot. We do have some big announcements. Today was the day we were supposed to drop some new music, but because I'm traveling and I'm on this journey right now, I'm going to put that music out when the time is right. All right. That's going to be very soon and whatnot. And we also have, we're waiting on the Epstein files. We got the whole clip. We got a whole show ready to drop, Boys R Us, but we're waiting for this Epstein, another Epstein drop. They have us waiting while they bomb all of these countries and come up with these false flags and whatnot. Who the hell made Marty Supreme? That's another show. That's going to be the title. Who the hell made Marty Supreme? Well, we'll be talking about the Marty Supreme fiasco and how they playing with Ryan Coogler in his face. And I don't like that for him. That Sinners movie they shitted on that so bad. Man, we're going to do something about that. I'm riding for Smoke and Stack. You know what I'm talking about? I'm riding for the twins. So with that being said, let's get up out of here. New music. And then we got to drop something. Oh, commercial.
Anthem on the track.
From the mothership, it's not to be on some other shit. Hit so you walk from sovereign identity architect. Here for the final 9 to 5. If you don't understand how to clearly articulate the value, the meaning, and the identity reputation that you bring to the market, you don't have a business. You have a high tax job. Get it?
Man, peace to the family, man. Peace to you and yours. It's the main man. Spin City, that's Spin City headquarters. Look, man. Hey, look, man. If you don't understand your branding, you ain't doing outstanding. So that's why I brought here to the building. But another thing is, if you don't know how to speak the language of your target audience and find out where to find them, you're not in business. So on the final 9 to 5, I'll be here to teach you how to use Meta ads, Google ads, how to use AI animations to create those very advertisements, how to put them on autopilot, and probably and maybe build you an application, man. Peace to you and yours, man. Spin.
And integrated into this new media, how you could turn social media into social monetization. I'm going to teach you about real world assets. I'm also going to teach you about how you could take Web3, blockchain, take work that you've already created, right? Data that you already have on the internet, how you can now monetize it, turn it into tools, turn it into plugins, turn it into dApps. Tap in. Your 9 to 5 is forever gone. We spent 2025 so you don't have to survive. You could thrive. Now we're here, 2026. Say goodbye to your 9 to 5.
All right. And we got a word from our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the word from our sponsors. VCell.
VCell in my cup, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by Steam Mouse. Flow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Run it up, 99 minerals, flaws. VCell in my cup, I'm feeling right. Sip to the sunrise, dance to the night. From the ocean's kiss to your city lights. 21 flavors, pure health in every bite. Drip so clean, we're custom made. From reef to street we elevate. Gold green gel, set the record straight. Nature in a bottle, that's a better way. Charge me up, no caffeine crash. Clean energy, steady splash. From skin to gut, yeah, we live from within. Oneness on 10, let the rhythm begin. Pour it up, pour it up. Feel the wave, body thanking me for every save. Ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, see moss. We sell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by sea moss. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, floss. Island breeze in the city maze. We're mineral rich in 1,000 ways. Immunity high like the summer rays. Hydrate the hustle, fuel your days. Berry, mango, ginger, lime. Pick your flow, your flavor, your time. Beauty and balance we redefine. Every little sip, align your shine. Pour it up, feel the wave. Body thanking me for every sip. Ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, see moss. We sell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by sea moss. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, floss. From the coral choir to the heartbeat drum. Roots run deep where the wild tide hum. Real ones know where the glow comes from. We sell in the mix now, watch us.
Alright, family. Alright, family. We out. Alright. We're gonna get back with you. And we'll see you either tomorrow or the next day. Alright. We're gonna get up out of here with the classic. Alright, with the classic. Let's go.
Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Facts. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red and blue, purple light, friends. Facts. Get to know the legend, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the legend, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes. The Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land, focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you and it's going to provoke you and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.